Welcome back to another episode of the Club Lights podcast. My name is yah-nahs, and as always, my good friend Dan is here with me. Dan, how's it going today, man?
Hey, buddy, how are ya? Glad to be here.
Yeah, we got a really cool episode I think planned for today. We're gonna definitely get into something that we both I know have a lot of experience with, and that is the venue in Colorado, Red Rocks Amphitheatre.
Yeah, really pumped to talk about Red Rocks. Like we mentioned in the previous episode, I know for me, I visit it multiple times a year, and so just tons of really great memories at that venue.
Yeah, man. Yeah, last episode I talked about how just lost count, right, in general.
Yeah,
Even if I narrow it down to specifically shows that I've been there with you, right? We've been to so
right.
many.
Yeah, just in that
Um,
one. Yeah,
yeah, so I'm excited to get into that, and really we'll just be scratching the surface, right? I mean, there's so much we can talk about with Red Rocks throughout
yeah,
the life of this podcast, and so we'll just be really just scratching the surface today. But that'll be exciting to get into for sure.
yeah, definitely. Well, and actually, real quick, I mean, while we're talking about like the podcast, I know it's called Club Lights, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about like where did that come from? Why are we
Yeah.
called Club Lights?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. So I've been using the name Club Lights for quite a while now, several years. Probably, it's crazy, 2026. It's probably been over 10 years that I've been using Club Lights as the name. It really started out as just a demo, like a demo mix that I created. I did part one and part two. Um,
I
and so
remember those.
that's oh yeah. That's when I first started when I first started using it. Those were early in the years, I think, when I lived in Las Vegas, and we'll talk about we can talk about the style of those demos at some point. I think of why they were the way they were, because I really started using more mainstream like remixes in those two sets particularly. But I kept that name throughout for it. Also is a style that I mix now. I've kind of established, some artists will do aliases, and they have different styles for each alias, like a different, maybe a subgenre of music that they dabble in differently under that alias that most fans
Yeah.
wouldn't consider them. That's a whole nother topic that we can get into in the
Oh
future
my
as well.
gosh.
But rather than doing that, I named my sets. So there's some artists that do that too, where it's like you have a theme or a high level theme of like a style that you would play. Like if I'm gonna play deep house versus if I'm gonna play like bass house kind of thing. You know what I mean? That just to give people an idea of what style of set it's gonna be. So I've been using it for that, and then obviously the podcast I originally started on Spotify and then carried forward to this one. So I've been using it. I've been using it for a while, but the reason I came up with that name and really I guess the meaning behind it, it's just what it says, right? Imagine when you're, and for me at the time, it was just in a club, right? That was mostly where you were going to hear electronic dance music. There were obviously some
For
venues, and
sure.
Red Rocks being one of them that we'll get into, but um, it was mostly the club where I think I was really starting to get shaped and really starting to learn what this music is all about. And the lighting and and the technology, it's crazy how much the technology for lighting and visuals and everything has
Oh my
advanced.
gosh.
We were into it, right? But the lighting to me was almost its own like persona to some extent, right? And one of the things that you and I have talked about it before, just in private conversations, I feel like a lot of these visual artists, and the people running the lights, like I feel like they should have almost a spot on the stage too, right? Because they're part of the whole performance. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
just imagine some of the times when the crowd reacts, right, to a big drop of a song. Part of that reaction is the lighting and the effects, because they're doing some really cool stuff. So club,
Absolutely. And
yeah, yeah, it's just a thing that when I was at the club and you were seeing the lights, it was you. it was just setting the tone for me, right? Even before the main headliner was on, the lights were just one of the first things that popped when you walk in onto the dance floor. And so club lights to me was always what came to mind when it was like when I was the DJ, when I was behind the decks, when I was coming up with my demos and stuff like that. Um, that almost becomes part of the visual, right, in my mind as I'm doing this. And so club lights, that's what it was, man. That's really where it
Yeah.
started, was just that feeling that it kind of created in you when you first step into that room and you see the
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah. That's really cool. I mean, it's it's such a critical element of the whole experience, right? Like you walk into the club, there's that ambiance. It also kind of ratchets up with like the progression of the music. It gets more
Hmm.
intense. They turn on the lasers. It's like, oh man, you're in for it, right?
Right.
And then, Red Rocks, I mean, just over the years, even that whole production of lights and lasers and smoke, and now, oh, I mean, there's just so much going on. And some of these artists, I mean, that has just progressed over the years, where now they're bringing out full LED setups, and
Right.
everyone's got like such a unique show. I mean, I can't even imagine what the like the production cost to bring these custom rigs out
Right.
um, for a Red Rock show.
Yeah, and it's just one more element too of like design and creativity, right? Like, and I know for the biggest artists out there, obviously they're, I believe all of them, if not, at least most of them they're working with teams of people, right? Because it takes a lot. It's a lot of work. You just factor in not only the production, right? They're producing original music, right? These biggest artists, then they have to put the set together, right? So then they have to have those DJ skills. Not all of them. Some of them do the live performances, obviously, but that's a whole different skill, right? Of using that equipment live, whether it's DJing or like a live show with sequencers and stuff and keyboards. Um, but then you have the visual, right? The lighting, and sometimes it's two different people, right? One person with literally the LED boards and the visuals, and someone else controlling all the lighting, and like you said, the lasers, dude. Like the lasers is another thing that sticks out to me. Again, maybe to tease out maybe a future episode. I'm right now trying to construct a set that's called FGL, and it stands for fucking green laser. And the reason why that specifically, maybe you'll remember this we'll call back to another club in Denver that's still there, and actually it's where I got my start as an EDM artist, the Church nightclub. Do you
Mm.
remember they had that green? Because at the time it wasn't just, oh, you have all kinds of lasers. They had like a
No, you had a
laser.
green laser, right?
You had
Right.
they had a green laser. Dude, do you remember that thing? When they would turn that on and with the drop late during the headline artist, dude, like it was a whole vibe on its own, dude. The green laser.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just got to pump a little smoke into the room, a little fog, and
Yep.
you're going to town. Yeah,
Yep, for
good
sure.
times. Good times.
All right, buddy. Yeah, so that's Club Lights, but yeah, there's it makes sense, I think, as I explain it, of just like what was at least inspiring that name for me, of where it came
Yeah,
from. So, but
totally. Well, and I've seen your like evolution over the years, and I remember those mixtapes. So yeah, it's cool to see where you're at now. This is really cool.
yeah, man, thank you. All right, let's talk about Red Rocks, dude. This is there's so many, like I said, so many things we could go into on this.
Yeah. Well, let's start with like your what was the first show you saw?
Okay, so my first show, shout out to my big brother Francisco. He took me. I'm actually looking over in the room right now. I'll take a picture of this. It's in bad shape, but I still have the ticket stub actually to my not my first show ever at Red Rocks. I'll talk about that because that was also my brother that took me. But we'll all focus in on like first EDM show was a show called Rave on the Rocks. And I believe it was in 2000 was the first. I don't know if that was the first year ever or if it might have just been the first year that I went. But that was my first EDM show at Red Rocks that kind of changed everything for me. But it was, I believe the headliner was Paul Oakenfold,
Okay,
and
nice.
some opening artists, BT, Hernan Cantaneo, who I've only ever seen there. I know he is still performing, plays in Denver actually. I think a couple times a year at least,
Oh,
from what I've seen lately.
nice, nice.
And I don't think there was any others besides the Static Revenger. That one
Oh,
stands out to me because that was my, I think, first like house in the way that I really like house music artist was Static Revenger because I wasn't really into it yet, right? You know, like the way that you come into EDM. I know everyone has their own unique ways, and we can talk about that in a future episode also. But yeah, that was my first EDM show. My first Red Rocks experience was actually Dave Matthews Band. It was just a concert that my brother also took me to a few years before. But yeah, Rave on the Rocks is the one that I'll focus in on for this conversation. So yeah, quite a
mm.
lineup at that time in 2000. What do you remember what yours was?
Yeah, it took me a minute because I've been to so many, I've been to so many shows, but I do remember it was with you, and it was also at well, it was started as Rave at the Rocks, then it transitioned to Global Dance Fest, right? Um,
Yeah, I think
and
most of the same promoters were involved in both. I don't know if it was all the same group, but yeah, that was my understanding of it. Yeah, that it changed
yeah,
to global.
and I was there in 2005 also for Paul Oakenfold, who at that time was like, I mean, he was just like constantly on rotation. I had all the CDs, right? We had a
I
bunch of
remember
CDs
that.
back then.
Oh
So in
yeah.
fact, I think we were always like trading CDs. I'd burn a copy, you'd get it.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yes. Oh, I
yeah, it
have
was
several.
but yeah, I remember. I mean, this is just an old memory of like being in Greeley, right? Like we only had a couple places where we could go and like get CDs. And there was a store called Hastings, and I remember going there and like kind of rifling through the EDM CDs and just seeing what was new, what I had, what I didn't have, dreaming of when I'd have some extra cash to fill out my collection of deep underground, Euro DJs. But
Yeah,
Paul
what was
Oakenfold
that?
was
That series name was called Global Underground, wasn't it?
Global
That was
Underground.
numbered.
Yeah,
Like you had so many of those. I had a few, but we would always share when we ever got one. But yeah, that was a great
man.
label that was just putting out mixes in the day.
Dude, it was just so good, man. So many great. And it's funny too, like, I still go back and like you can't really find them on like Spotify or
Right.
you can't find
Right.
those mixes. You have to like go on YouTube and maybe somebody loaded it up.
Correct. I just went into the we're talking about Paul Oakenfold. It's funny. We did not pre-plan this because I had
Yeah,
just recently like went down. Maybe it was subconsciously in my head because I knew we were going to talk about this at some point in the future. Paul Oakenfold mixes Another World. I think I started with, if you remember
Another
that
World. I
one,
do remember
and they
that
were
one.
all
Yeah.
like two disc sets, right? So it's like these
Yeah.
were because let's see, you could do an hour and like 20-ish minutes or so on a
Right.
single disc, and these were almost
Hmm.
maxed out. So
They were maxed out. Yeah.
these were well over like 2.5 hours worth of music just to go through one like release because it was a two disc set. So yeah, I started with that one and then listened to a couple others, and then once you start going down that rabbit hole, you don't know where where you're gonna end up. I ended up getting back into In Search of Sunrise sets from Tiesto, like
Oh, the
good times.
best. Yeah. Oh, love the Tiesto Search and Sunrise sets. You know what else I like? And just on Paul Oakenfold, when I talk to and I meet new people who are into like EDM, and I'm like, hey, what artists have you heard? Almost, I mean, Paul Oakenfold is like universally known.
Really?
I feel like still
Wow.
today, especially in like millennials, right?
Okay, that makes sense
We,
because
mu-
he was kind of the top. I, I feel like he was pretty much the top around that time. Him and Tiesto kind of took over, but yeah, he
yeah,
was at that time when we were getting in. I feel like he was one of the biggest out
one of the
there.
big guys. Well, so yeah, I mean, it makes sense for me. My first show at Red Rocks, Paul Oakenfold, Deep Dish was there, Bad Boy Bill. I mean, he was
Mm-hmm.
as house as it. Uh, just man, he just always just what an amazing artist. So yeah, that was my first show, and I remember walking into Red Rocks and just I mean, it takes your breath away, right? Like you're
Right.
seeing this, and I still get that feeling even today when I go there, because it's just it's beautiful. Just everything about the structure of it, the way the stage is set up, the seating, the rocks, the trees. I mean, just everything about even just walking up
Right.
into the venue is an experience, right? You know you're in for something like really special. It just get your mind right, especially if you've got to go up those stairs if you're coming from the bottom.
Right. Yeah.
It gives you the time to get your mind right, man. Like get ready for what you're
Yeah,
about
your
to
first,
experience.
it's almost like a progression of like you're playing a video game or something and you got to achieve different statuses before you get the rewards. And it's like
Yeah.
your first mission really, I mean your first mission is to get there, right? To get to that venue. That's a whole adventure on its own, driving through Denver from where we're coming from, typically driving through Denver, kind of around Denver. Now you're into the mountains. You're right when you're really starting to get on that real climb coming out of like Golden, Colorado, is where the highway really starts to incline as you're getting in the mountains. So that's your first mission, right? Then your second mission really is the hike, right? Are you walking up the stairs? Or are you walking down the stairs? Either way, you're going to be exerting some physical energy to get into the venue, right? You got to hike in there. But so yeah, it's an experience all on its own. I wonder if that's part of it, right? Is you go through that physical exertion, and then that's your reward is just that beauty of that scene.
Hmm. Take a load
You can
off.
if
Yeah.
you're at the top, you can see downtown Denver from up there, right off in the distance, the skyline. It's beautiful, man. It's like you said, it takes your breath away. It really does.
Yeah, yeah, and just like the structure of Red Rocks, I love the way that like the seating is worked out. Um, the spacing, you get plenty of room to like you've got your seat. By the way, everyone, you sit on the wood part, right? You dance on the concrete in front of you. Let's just be clear about that. Uh, because there's still some confusion even to this
Right.
day about how this works at Red Rocks. But if you do it right, you should have plenty of space to sit, to get up, dance. You have room to do what you need to do. So,
Yeah, the etiquette part is fair to bring up. We could probably dedicate a whole episode. In fact, I actually want to, for I was gonna term it as festival etiquette, but it would apply to venues obviously as well. But
yeah,
yes,
I like
that
that
is
one.
a solid point around you. It's general admission, but you do have a seat once you pick your seat, and yeah, you
Yeah,
dance in front of your seat. Other people
right.
don't dance in front of you. They have
Yeah.
their own section,
They have
right?
their own section, right? And if you look
Right,
down on the wood part, there's a little, metal label of what your number
right,
is.
right.
And before you get into your section, like look at right on the bench going into that section, it has another number. So you put those two
Yeah.
together and that's where you're at.
Yeah, that part is key. I did get caught one time. I knew the area I was in. I did not remember the exact row. And so I was standing, trying to look and see if I could see my crew. And someone was getting super annoyed. I because I was
Yeah.
standing in their way. So that was my bad. But there's also etiquette to asking someone to move on also, right? So it's like
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Hey, we don't want no confrontation. Let's just respect each other's space,
exactly,
you know.
exactly.
But like once you're there, you're in a great seat. You've got your seat for the evening, and you look down at that stage, and I mean, there's just not a bad seat in the house, to be honest. I mean, from a visual perspective, you're going to get a great show, and then from a sound, obviously the better, in my opinion, is more in the middle, a little lower down, but you're still going to get a great experience, even if you're in the upper levels and off to the sides.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's a different experience depending on where you are, right? Because I've been in a lot of places, and especially when we talk about when they have the festivals, multi-stage festivals there, like Global. There's obviously the main amphitheater, and then usually a couple other stages up at the top deck of the amphitheater, and then a smaller stage around behind the back. And when you're, especially on those ones, because you're moving from stage to stage potentially, up at the top you get that view, right? You get the landscape that when
Okay.
you're down further, like you're talking, where it's the probably optimum or optimal location for the main stage, you don't get as much, right?
Yeah.
You lose a lot of that. So there's a give and take there, right? As
Give
there
and
always
take.
is with everything, but it's a different experience. That's why it's like it's not better or worse. I'll say one thing though that is a trend, I'll call it, and I don't know if you've experienced this yet. People running into the theater. That didn't used to be a thing, and I'm kind of not sure if it's the best way to do it, because
Mm.
people are running to get their spots. But it's like if everyone just goes at a consistent pace, if you're first in line, you'll get your spot.
You paid your dues, right? You were there
Yeah,
early. You're in
exactly.
line.
And so maybe it's people from around the back trying to run and beat you to it, I guess. And so then it forces everyone to run. I'll be honest, it doesn't seem like a cool thing. I don't know. Have you experienced that
I've
piece yet?
totally experienced that. I've been first in line. I'm just gonna, hey, I'm 40, I'm 41 years old. I'm not gonna be right. I already exerted enough energy,
Right.
you know, getting up there. So no, I'm not gonna be running in.
Right.
But I am one who like, brings the blanket. I'm typically there early because I do care about being closer. I have a little section that I like to get in. So I'm the one who'll show up, have a blanket, lay out, 4 or 5 spots for some friends that maybe, or that are coming a little later. I'm that guy. Okay. But I'm not running to get that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because either way, like I'm going to be within, 3 or 4 rows or within 10 spots of where I want to be. I mean, again, like once you're in a certain area, eh, you're going to have a great show.
Right. You are. You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Just again, as we're scratching the surface on Red Rocks, I think it's it is interesting of just the rock formation in general that created that amphitheater, right? And if you look into the history of it, I think it was they used to do a lot of operas there because there was an opera singer that and I don't know if it was before the venue really existed and they were really just starting it or if it was after they had created it, but they had talked about how the acoustics there naturally were
Mm,
better than any opera house that they've ever performed in.
mm,
And so just to hear it
wow.
from that perspective, right, of like of how the natural amphitheater and the acoustics that are created of those giant rocks coming out, which they do have names. Did you know that they have names
I didn't know
each
that.
side? You
Oh,
didn't know that?
what? I
Yeah.
didn't. No.
So and I don't have to. One is creation rock,
Okay.
and the other is shiprock.
Shiprock. Okay. Wow. I think I did know Shiprock. I didn't know the other one was called
Yeah.
Creation. Yeah, very
Hmm.
cool. Okay. Ah, good to know. Nice to know.
Yeah. So just looking at those, right, are very unique. And we talked about that drive up, right, of just the drive into the whole park area before you get, close enough to the amphitheater to actually see those rocks. It again is just it's awe-inspiring. It's just very, very unique nature. Like who knows how many thousands or millions even of years it took for that to even exist, right?
Mm,
And then
hmm.
to think that we just get to experience dance
Yeah.
music there, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
so
and
cool.
yeah, absolutely. And thankful for the people who, went there and experienced the acoustics of it and were like, whoa, there's something here, right? Because, nowadays, and especially, I mean, in those times too, it was just consume, build stuff, a new housing development. But like, there's these really sacred areas that we have kept and built for all of us to enjoy, and I'm really glad that this is one of them. And I love going there even when I'm not on a show and just hiking through the area. There's tons of beautiful formations, so highly recommend. I mean, if you're coming out for a show, come out a day early, hike the area. I think you'll have a renewed or an additional appreciation for like what's going on in this little ridge, right?
Hmm.
And so, um, yeah, and I guess that's another thing that I love about Red Rocks is like if you when you're there and you talk to the people around you. I mean, people come from all over the country, all over the world to
Yes.
experience a show at Red Rocks. And if it's your favorite artist and you have a choice and the means to experience them in a venue of choice, Red Rocks is probably at the top of that list.
I would think so, right? I mean, there's a lot of all genres, right?
Yeah,
Where back and again now, I mean, people release it, but it's just not as special as it was once for like an artist to release a live show, right? On VHS, right? Or on DVD or whatever it is. Um, it was almost like the biggest artists out there. And I'm talking like rock music, right? What you typically is the ones that I have in my mind of like when they had released a Red Rock show that was like, oh wow, they did a show at
they
Red
did a show.
Rocks.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it just has that feeling of something extra special for sure. And I know artists today, right? Even when we talk about EDM artists, when it's their first one, and I know on Instagram, just like when you scroll through and you see, you can tell when it's someone's first show at Red Rocks because they make a big deal about it still, right? So it is
absolutely.
still what it was built up to be, and like you said, for anyone who hasn't been there, right? Like, put it on your list for sure because not everything lives up to the hype.
Mm,
To
yeah,
me, Red Rocks lives up to the hype. Like everyone here, you hear about it so much, so many people talk about it. Um, there's a reason why is all I can say,
yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
if you haven't experienced it, and if you have, you know exactly what we're talking about, right? But I think it's cool too. Um, like I said, having dance music there because all the artists, different genres, rock music, whatever that I was mentioning, we all know that EDM has not always been welcome, and in some places still isn't, right? Or even
Mm-mm.
understood. The fact that it kind of is now synonymous with EDM, among
Yeah.
other genres, obviously, but it's a big like I think it was 2023. You mentioned last episode that it was named one of the best venues in the world and has been, I think, in at different times, right? Throughout its history. But specifically 2023, I saw an article and it was something published on like in the local news in Denver that it was named the best EDM venue. So it was
Mm,
even specific down to EDM, which is I
I
don't take
believe it.
that for granted because again, like it's not always welcome, and to go from underground parties, warehouses, and stuff to like showcased and welcomed and promoted even in mainstream world and media, Red Rocks. That that's an achievement on its own. You know what I mean? So I get why the artists, especially in EDM, still make just a huge deal about it when they get to play there.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, and can you imagine like performing at Red Rocks? I just keep thinking about like being and a lot of them do it, right? Where like at the end of their performance they have, get a picture, they light up the crowd. I mean, just what an experience to see, like almost vertically,
Right,
the crowd of people. I mean, most of these other venues, you're just kind of like looking out at a sea of people. It's kind of flat, but you go to
right.
Red Rocks and it's like you actually can look out and see smiling faces. Um, yeah,
That is something that's unique about it, right? Because and we only get the view right from as close up as we can get in our seats looking up to see that crowd. But it's amazing. And it's it's not I'll say in terms of like the big artists that play there, it's not that big of a venue in terms of
uh,
how many people it can hold. But once you start getting them vertical,
yeah,
it it's massive, right?
just looks
It, it's
huge.
it's it's
Yeah,
incredible, and it even makes the crowd probably look even larger than it actually is. But I mean, it's a solid 10,000. I think
it's
is what
10,000.
I always hear
Yeah,
about the capacity of it. And so yeah, I mean that still is a lot of people. But when you put it in comparison to um, some of these other venues, or not even so much venues, but festivals, how many people those hold. I think you got to factor in multiple stages, right? So now you're
Mhm.
spreading people around. But there are events in the world, right, that there's hundreds of thousands of people that can be in one spot. And
Yeah.
so that's just some of the scale of it. But when you, like you said, when you get people vertical, it just has a whole different look to it because it's not just flat. It's not just a sea of people. At a certain point, you can't see how far back it goes. Here, like, you can see all the way up to the very top row. Like that artist can see that very last person in the
Right.
venue, which is crazy to think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just hey, shout out Red Rocks and all the people who work there and the production and the security. I think just on some other little points, right? Like actually getting into the venue, it's quick. It's painless. I always feel safe when I'm at Red Rocks. And then even getting out of Red Rocks, yeah, it might take a little bit of time. There's the crowd, there's like these choke points, but the experience is, you're in and out within, 10, 15 minutes. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of that has to go to the logistics and the security and just how well the venue is managed. And they know what they're doing, right? Like they have a status to maintain. And so it shows.
Yeah, and that's a great point too. Yeah, shout out to all the people that make it happen, right? Because without them, it might not be as great of an experience. But yeah, when you think about the traffic and stuff, it really isn't that bad. It really isn't. I mean, yeah, you're going to be waiting because you're in a congested area with a bunch of other people, but for where you are and what that experience is, it's worth it. And really, it's not even that bad. I think we've probably all gone through even worse, whether it's traveling, getting through the airport, whatever it is, to go have an experience somewhere. So yeah, don't let that deter you. But even getting to Colorado, like you said, get there early. Right. Get there with
Yeah,
some days, a few days to explore, because that also is it lives up to the hype, right? You're not going to be disappointed.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
Cool.
that's a good way to, I think, scratch the surface on Red Rocks. We will definitely be talking about that more. Like we mentioned before, it is going to be one of the kind of central themes to this podcast because it is so amazing, and we have had so many experiences there. Really, just scratching the surface of kind of introducing you all to it. But let's move on here, and I think we can close things out with some words to live by. So these really, I think, serve as a reminder, and I think are very relevant to the conversation that we just had about the venue of Red Rocks and out in nature in the mountains, open air venue. The quote from Bibiana Krall, who's an author, the quote is, "Nature is the ultimate artist,"
Mm.
and I think that's just
Oh,
what we talk about with the rock formations of, it took nature a long time to create those, and so to just see them now, among the crowd, among the music and the whole vibe that's created there, is, you don't get that every day, right? You literally don't, because it's the one and only Red Rocks, right?
the one and only, the one and only. Yeah, the sense of peace that you can get by walking in, that calm, that harmony, that one with earth. Um, it's hard to explain, but like if you're open to that, you'll experience it there. So
Yep.
yeah, that's a great quote.
Yep. All right, man. Well, I think we can give a little teaser, and I'll be honest, I had not really thought about this before we started talking in this episode of what should we talk about in next episode. But I think where I landed is going to be relevant to what we were talking about, of the evolution of electronic dance music.
Mm.
In that, like we said, i- having it in a venue like Red Rocks is an accomplishment, right? And I think it speaks to how the music has grown, right? And how it's become something so special. obviously for us, but for so many people that we meet, right, at all these shows. So we'll get into that topic. And again, that's another one that, we could spend hours and hours talking about, but we'll scratch the surface on that one for next time.
Yeah, look forward to it. That's gonna be great.
All right, buddy.
Cool.
Well, it was great talking to you once again. Looking forward to putting the information out here on this podcast, on this episode, because promoting an episode about Red Rocks, I feel like, is going to be a lot of fun, because it's constantly talked about. We'll have plenty of places we can post it and point people to this episode, but I don't think there's any shortage of interest, right, in
Yeah,
Red Rocks, and it's
absolutely.
you know
And the season's just getting started, right? I mean,
right.
I've been to a couple shows already, but like it's just getting started. We've got a jam-packed a lineup this year at Red Rocks, and more shows every day are coming out. So I mean, there's just so much to talk about, but and we'll cover more of it. So
All right, buddy.
cool.
Well, hey, to everyone out there, thanks for joining us again on the Club Lights podcast. And until next time, keep making progress.
See you guys.
This episode's mix of the month is called NuEnergy. It is part of the Club Lights series. Dan and I talked about that at the beginning of the episode, that there were a few mixes that used that name as well. And this one is one that was created shortly after I ended my live performance hiatus after experiencing some difficult life events. I was super inspired as I came back to create this one, so I hope you enjoy the journey.
Your comfort, if you really go first, if you really love. I don't know if I would be alive today, with or without you, like night and day. We didn't repeat every conversation. Being with you every day is a Saturday, but every Sunday you got me praying. Don't you ever leave me, don't you ever go. I've seen it on TV, I know how it goes. Even when you're angry, even when I'm cold, don't you ever leave me, don't leave me alone. Don't leave me alone, don't leave me I don't wanna call and you not answer. Never see your face light up my phone. Never see you singing Tiny Dancer. Every time my head hurts, every time I'm low. I don't know if I would be alive today, with or without you, like night and day. Everything about you uncomplicated. Here with you every day is a Saturday, but every Sunday you got me praying. chase you from the light. Watch me change into the night, the darkest corner of my mind, where I'ma hold you for a while, and you can look me in the eyes and watch me.
time the sun goes down, I let you take control. I can feel the paradise before my world implodes. And tonight had something wonderful. My bad habits recognize and never low. Conversations with a stranger I better know. Swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose. be a reason why I'm making examples of you. Must be the reason why I'm When I call it,